All right, sister, you can begin. God bless you.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening,
And welcome to this training on the Billings ovulation method of natural family planning. As Father has said, today is the introductory part of it. When I saw only women signing up, I was wondering, where are the men? So I'm happy that at least one man has joined us. I hope I'm not mistaken, Father. Is it only one?
No, we have two men. Right now, we have Mr. Augustine Enuji, and the second man is Mr. Ashu Innocent. Mr. Ashu Innocent, I believe that he's joining with his wife, Ashu Edit. Maybe they are using one device to join.
Okay.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, because usually when we teach billings, we teach both the husband and the wife. So I hope that the women will speak to their husband so that they can join us next week. Okay. Okay, what is natural family planning? It is a natural way of monitoring a woman's fertility system. Many times when we say natural family planning, people are just thinking of the aspect of avoiding pregnancy, but it is a fertility management system, learning to understand the body in such a way that you can know when the woman is fertile and when she is fertile. Of course, with the men are always fertile. So how do we link our fertility? We want to link it to nature. When the ground is wet, we plant the seed and it grows. When the ground is dry, we do not plant because the seed will die. In natural family planning, those who are looking for children will aim at having sexual intercourse during the fertile phase. And those who are trying to avoid pregnancy will meet with their husbands during the infertile time. The objective is to promote love and harmony in the marriage and the family at large. Of course, when the husband and wife is happy, the children automatically are happy. And when there is a fight between the parent, between the husband and wife, of course, the saddest people are usually the children, and are usually affected. So natural family planning affects the whole family. Why is the church talking about natural family planning? To answer this question, we have to go down the memory lane of what is happening around the world. First, the sexual explosion during the 60s. The population was growing very high and faster than the resources. And of course, people were thinking, we have to reduce the population, especially in Africa. UN is always more interested in reducing population in Africa. And it was also an era when the real love for meaning was misunderstood. Era of attacks on family. These days, we are having different types of attack on family. Abortion is legalized in many countries. Abortion does not mean much for anybody. Like kill somebody like a chicken. Contraceptive is the order of the day. And let us just name some of the attacks on the families we are looking at. The same-sex marriage under the disguise of LGBTQ. You're talking of lesbianism, women marrying women, men marrying men, people claiming that they are neither male or female, bisexual, a transgender. We are talking of people who maybe were born as men or women, and all of a sudden they want to change their identity and become the opposite, and the queer. We are also talking of an era where people are trying to teach innocent children about sex. They want them to experience what sex is. They are trying to introduce this into the curriculum in the name of modernizing the children. We are talking of the era where fathers are sleeping with their daughters. We are talking of an era where young girls are selling their eggs to make money. We are talking of an era where young men are selling their sperm. This is just to mention a few of the attacks on the family. Why is the church talking about it? It concerns the church because wherever there are people worried about something, the church is there to see what can we do to help. And we see ourselves going back into what was happening in the time of Adam and Eve in the garden. All those things I have listed are regarded as a culture of death. And we see what is written in the book of Deuteronomy. I have set before you life and death, both blessing and curse. Choose life that I may be with you and your children. And that is what the natural family planning is trying to do, to invite people back into family values, to invite people back to the meaning of love. It is our hope that when the bond of marriage is strengthened in families, that they will be able to fight the evil in the society. Evangelium Vitae by Pope St. John Paul II talks about respect for every human life from conception to the natural end. It talks about the promotion of the fragile human life that cannot defend itself. We also see at the heart of the church is this document, encyclical published by Pope Paul VI in 1968 in response to the world's question about how to control population in a natural way. And that document has two main sections, one on married love and the second one on responsible parenthood. We are going to explore these two areas and see how it affects marriage and family life. Married love. Marriage was established by God himself during the time of Adam and Eve. For this reason, he said, a man must leave his mother and father and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. As husband and wife, you commit yourself to each other in marriage till death do you part. And that's when we use the formula. The husband and wife they are not two. 1 + 1 = 1. Marriage marriage law expression. It represents the union between Christ and the church, communion. It is a union of mind, body, and heart. Christ fed and nourished the church even to the point of death. Can you give your life for your spouse to the point of death? That's what this married love is inviting us to do. Sexual expression of husband and wife. Sex is sacred, and therefore sexual union between husband and wife is a sacred space. It is a sanctuary of marriage. How do you approach it? That's a question I would like to invite each participant at this training session to reflect on it. As a woman, do you try to avoid your husband when it comes to that part? As a man, do you approach it in such a hurry, in such a selfish way? You are mine and you have to be available whenever I need you. I wish I have more men at this training session, because last week when we were training in a particular diocese, this was a big debate in the class. What is happening? The way women are approached on their married bed. I paid your bride price. Is a woman there just to provide for the man's satisfaction? What of her? Do the men care how the woman feels? Do you check out with your spouse how he or she feels? Or is it just mine alone? When we are talking of married love, what we teach in the Billings method is GTPPP. During our physical training, we almost use this as a chorus. And what it means is approaching each other with gentleness, with tenderness, with patience, privacy, and play, because you are married to each other. It's not as if somebody is approaching another one for commercial sex and looking around with somebody doing, let's hurry and finish it. In some marriages, women are raped. When we talk of raping in marriage, people think, oh no, because we are married to the person, it's not rape. But anybody forcing himself or herself on the other one, it is raping. Do you ever ask your wife or your husband how she feels after you have expressed yourself together sexually? They can be what is called falling on the mountain from the plateau. What we encourage in the Billings method is a husband and wife walking step by step beside each other to reach the mountain. Sometimes you hear one couple say, he approaches me when I'm not in the mood. Or she approaches me when I'm not in the mood. So what we encourage in the Billings method is this, using this GTPPP. When the other partner is not ready, that the other one uses his or her own way to bring the partner to the same level that both of them can express themselves to each other. What we discourage is this selfish self-satisfaction that one will continue, especially on the part of the men. And then the woman that has a slow climbing of the plateau is left high and dry. And that is what we call dropping somebody from the top of the mountain. That's the image I can use to express how the other person is feeling. It's as if you are dropping the other person from the heights of that mountain. And we totally discourage that. That's why I would have loved more men to be here, because sometimes men are thinking, that chatting of body sign, oh, that's for women. No,
760.
it's not for women. There is an echo.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, we're picking up.
Hello, can we mute ourselves, please? There's an echo, okay. So, we discourage, we don't teach one person. So there, we would have loved more people. Why are we talking about that? Because if you don't teach the two, and only the woman is chatting, at the end of the day, the purpose is defeated. The husband can approach her at the wrong time, and then he does not understand what is happening. So the second part of the Humane Vitae is the responsible parenthood. The church expects husband and wife to express that love to each other in a responsible manner. Humane Vitae talks about responsible parenthood in 3 ways. That I am aware of what is happening in my body, biologically and mentally. I can reason with my full faculty, that I take responsibility for my action. I do not just allow my instincts to rule me, but I reason and make choices, what I want and how that will affect me, my family, and society at large. The husband and wife together raise up their children in the way God wants them to do. If you know you can take care of 5 children, you have 5 children. If you know you can take care of 10, it's up to you. But not to have so many children and not be prepared to take the responsibility for it. In summary, responsible parents would urge this husband and wife with their conscience to recognize the duty toward God, themselves, their family, and the society at large. Sexual acts, as cited in the Humane Vitae, does not always result in pregnancy, because God has made the body of the woman in such a way that the woman has fertile time and fertile time which can result in pregnancy and the infertile time. And because of this, the church invites married couple to make, when they don't want to have children, to make use of the infertile time. Paul VI in his writings said that married couples, when they do not want it, they use the natural cycle. The church puts this document for us to discourage us from using other means in avoiding pregnancy. So before we go into the Billings method proper, we have here the female reproductive organ. We have the cervix, which is the part of the body. When we are going to be talking about, sorry, I'm mixing that up with vulva. The cervix is the part that communicates the body sign to the outside parts. And then we have the uterus. That is where the baby lies. Also, we have the endometrium. It's a very thin part of the uterus, like an avocado pear. If you see, open an avocado pear, that thin brownish part that is usually inside the avocado after the seed, that's what is called the endometrium. And we have the ovary, we have the fallopian tubes, and we also have this diagram doesn't show the vulva, which we'll be talking about the sensation. And this we have the male reproductive organ as well. Our next slide is going to take us into the stages of human development and how it affects our relationship and married life. So when we look at the child, the baby, and the childhood, then we look at the adolescence. The baby and the childhood part is where we have complete dependency on each other. In the adolescence, people start forming relationship and narrowing it down to the point of marriage. That's at the point where people make choices of their future life. That's the point where people decide on their vocation. Early reproductive years are the time after people get married, they want to have their children and bring them up. At the late reproductive stage, people start slowing down on having children. You reach the menopause and the old age. At the time of menopause, again, people have companionship with each other. It's not like at the early reproductive age when they were more active. So we look at the different aspects at the menarche. When a young girl starts seeing menses, ovary is not fully mature. Menses can start, and for about 2 or 3 months, it may not come again. Sometimes the parents are worried, oh, what has my child done that the menses is not flowing again? According to the Billings, at that stage, the ovaries are not very, very mature. The eggs are not very, very mature. And because of that, they can have spaces where the menses is not come. But if that happens after 2 years and the girl is not having menses regularly, and we are not talking of a few cases where people have irregular menses, but if they have the pattern of menstruating every month and then it stops in between, then there will be need to take that person to the doctor. The reproductive stage, the childbearing age, characterized by regular menses or irregular. The married couple are at the height of their relationship. Breastfeeding time. According to Billings, a woman can start meeting with the husband 3 weeks after normal delivery. We like to put emphasis on that normal delivery, because if you don't look at that, then you are not taking into consideration if a woman has had a cut or a tear during delivery, or if a woman has had cesarean section. Provided they are charting the body signs, just don't go into that to think, oh, yeah, the book says 3 weeks, therefore, okay, it's my right after 3 weeks. You have to, the married couple need to engage each other. They need to talk to each other. The woman's body is very dry at this time, and therefore they need to play with each other before going into the actual sexual intercourse. Premenopause and menopause, mood swing, body changes, dry vagina, and at this stage, the menses can come maybe sometimes at interval of two weeks. Other times, it can come maybe after 3 months, maybe after 6 months. So what the women need to note is that when the menses stop the first time, you don't think, oh, I'm done with menses. Because what happens, pregnancy can occur. But if you are using the Billings method and charting the body sign, there should be no fear of unwanted pregnancy at that point. So we go back. Natural family planning uses the natural system in the body to regulate fertility. It indicates when one can have children and when they cannot have. It is a form of fertility management, both for having children and for avoiding pregnancy. The Billings method, stroke love and life natural family planning, teaches a woman how to recognize when she's fertile and when she's infertile by observing her body sign. This method is more than just family planning because it helps in achieving pregnancy as well as avoiding. It is a way of life that makes you treat your wife or husband as a friend and as a partner, as God wanted it from the beginning. It's not one person's journey, because if it is one person's journey, it will not work. Both of them have to be in it together. Otherwise, it cannot work. The objective and benefits of the Billings ovulation method. The method will help families to have the desired number of children they can care for, helping couples to pre-select the sex of the baby they want, helping couples to have a deeper understanding of the sexuality and their combined fertility. Such harmony protects fidelity, unity, and love in the family. And more benefit, it can help with the reproductive health. If a woman is charting her body sign, for sure she will know when things are not going properly. It can be in form of endometriosis, it can be fibroid, it can be cancer, whatever it is. The woman that is using the Billings method will be able to know that, oh, there's something wrong with me, and will be able to seek medical attention on time. By using natural family planning, a woman's body is free from chemicals and all the effect that goes with that. What are the side effects of the chemical contraceptive? Excessive bleeding, excessive gaining of weight, cancer, and it can change the mood of the woman, high blood pressure, cessation of menstruation. If you ask your wife to use chemical contraceptive, do you think of the effects on her or just the sexual pleasure? It's a question I would like to ask. I'm sorry to direct that question to the two men, and I'm not saying they are doing that, but it's a question that when we are addressing men, addressing married couple, that we put this question across to them. The Billings method also enhances good communication and good relationship with married couple. It brings love and harmony in the family. So we are now going into the cycle. It is the first day of one menses to the first day of the next menses. Within this cycle, a lot of things happen, as we will see in the next section. So this is the female reproductive organ showing the endometrium bleeding during menstruation. And looking at the cycle, we have 3 types of cycle. The first cycle that we are having in front of us here is what we call the normal cycle. It's not that the other cycles are abnormal. They are not abnormal, but rather it's cycle that is of average length. What do we see with the cycle of an average length? We have the menstruation, which is pointed here in the red. And soon after menstruation, you have in a few days infertile days. And moving from the infertile days, you enter the fertile phase. And from that fertile phase, you now enter the infertile phase again. It goes round like a cycle, as we can see there. The next type of cycle we have is what we call the very short cycle. Very short cycle have 19 days to 23 days. That means that women in this category, they menstruate every 19 days or every 20 days or every 21 days up to 23. And what is peculiar about the women in this group, they actually start their fertility, the ovulation, within the menses or sometimes straight after menses. Women in this group suffer. Why am I saying that they suffer? Because most time, because of our culture and because of hygiene purposes, the husband will not want to sleep with the woman at that time. And maybe they are not even aware that she's ovulating within the menses. And what happened? These are the category of women that can be there, married for 5, 6, 7 years, unless they have the opportunity to learn this method. They can stay childless for that length of time without knowing. So that's why we need to teach a lot of women this method, if not for themselves, at least something that we can use to teach our neighbors, to teach our friends, to teach other people, so that we will not find a woman suffering because of this. So we have already talked about the types of cycle: normal, long cycle, and short cycle. Then you have the long cycle, 35 to 60 days. Or sometimes it could be 90 days, it could be 1 year. Example of this category is breastfeeding, premenopause, after taking contraceptives. Stress can also cause it, or sometimes miscarriage. There are women who can ovulate during the menses. We have already talked about that. And some people may think within this month, somebody called me, "Oh, sister, I menstruated 2 times in a month." So luckily she was able, is there something wrong with me? So luckily she was able to remember her dates of menstruation from January. So when she gave them to me, I sat down and counted a cycle of 26 to 28 days. Then I said to her, there is nothing wrong with you. That if a woman is menstruating every 19 days, 20 days, and the person starts a previous menses on the 1st, it's most likely before the end of the month that she's going to have menstruation again. It does not mean that there is anything wrong with her. So we look at some important terms: ovulation, the release of egg from the ovary at a particular time in a woman's cycle. The woman is fertile when the egg is released, and at that time, the woman has slippery discharge from the body. That slippery discharge is what is called the fetal mucus in the Billings language. A woman can get pregnant up to 3 days after the slippery discharge have stopped. At this time, the woman have high sexual urges during this ovulation. The egg that is released from the body from this woman lasts 12 to 24 hours. It cannot go beyond that. You have the cases where a woman can release 2 eggs or sometimes 3 eggs, all of them maybe within 15 to 20 minutes of each other. It cannot be more than that. Nature has made it that way. Then we are talking of the sperm survival. In a fetal mucus, that is when the woman's body is wet, the sperm can survive 3 to 5 days. But when the body is dry, the sperm dies almost immediately. Infertile time means that the woman cannot get pregnant because the sperm cannot survive. And many people wonder, does this method really work? Or will I get pregnant if I use this method? Research in India and China, we have heard about China many times, the time that they had very, very high population and the government was trying to bring in a control of the population. And when research was carried out, it was 99.8% effective for avoiding pregnancy. The Billings have also carried out some research that for achieving pregnancy, it is 76% successful. And then, of course, here in Nigeria, on the sex preselection, we've also carried out research that 96% successful for the sex preselection of a baby boy, and 76% for the selection of a baby girl. Later, we will also see from personal testimony how this method is helping the couples. Sorry, I want to correct this. It's 90%. 90% for selection of a baby girl. Sorry about that. Conditions for avoiding pregnancy. Chatting together and knowing when you can be together. Occasional abstinence. And when we start chatting the body signs, we will discover that a woman is 60 to 70% infertile during a particular cycle. What I mean by a particular cycle, from one cycle of menses, beginning of one menses to the beginning of the next menses. When we will be looking at the charting of the body sign, we will discover that within this percentage, the woman is infertile. So it's not a question. Some people think, oh, natural family planning, oh, they are restricting me from having sexual intercourse. But we also want to share with you that, yes, there will be occasional abstinence, and that's usually about 8 days, 9 days, 10 days maximum. So if a woman has studied a cycle properly, they should not have any problem to discover the infertile time that they can share together for sexual intercourse. And the pictures we have here, actually testimonies that we have, testimonies that we have received from couples. Okay, you can see that on the picture, people who have used it. we can see that this family have used it both for spacing their children and for sex preselection. Other testimonies we have, Love and Life NFP has helped me and my wife to live our marriage life to the fullest, and it has helped us to have a better understanding of each other. People think that it does not work. We have lived it, and we confirm that it works very well for avoiding pregnancy, as research says, 99.8%. So here are more testimony. Again, we see a young couple here, they are harmony together. It is not an easy journey, because most times when we are teaching them in class, people start wondering, oh, how are we going to manage that time? As we say, natural family planning, Billings method, you have to make it a way of life. If we are looking at it from the negative point of view, we will only see the challenges. We will not see the benefits. So it is a divine journey. Yes, it is a path to love and a path to holiness. No sense of guilt that you are doing what the church or gods forbid. No side effects from chemical, a divine union using the natural way. You cannot walk it alone, only with the grace of God. And here we have, these are some of the pictures we have for sex preselection. So thank you all for listening, and we would like to leave this space for questions and comments before we show you what will follow in next week. Thank you for listening. I've stopped screen sharing so that you can have chance to ask questions.
Thank you, Sister Cornelia, for this well-detailed introduction to natural family planning. So let's get your contributions, your questions. Remember that this workshop is for you. It is an opportunity for you to ask some questions. Probably no one has been able to give you an answer, or even share your own experience. All right, we can begin. If you don't want to speak, you can put it on the chat. The workshop we had with the singles before we started this, they were able to speak. I believe that the marriage should be the one to talk more than the young people, more than the singles. I don't expect that after the presentation, everyone will be quiet. Sister, let me throw this question before they speak. I know that some of them are trying to speak now, but let me throw this question. Sister Cornelia, I would like you also to talk more on that cleanliness, as we did with the young people, with the singles. We also talk about it among the married. Cleanliness. Some of the issues that men have with regards to their wives when it comes to sexual department is that aspect of cleanliness. So it is important as we talk about natural family planning, as we talk about how to practice it effectively, we also talk about this cleanliness. How can a married woman wash her vagina, wash her breast? What are the practical steps that should be taken to ensure that there is a healthy sexual life in relation to cleanliness? In relation to cleanliness, I would like us to talk more on that. Maybe you may let us allow Jessica Maggie to speak before you now give explanation on this aspect of cleanliness. The best way to,
Okay. All right.
to clean ourselves, to wash the vagina, wash the breast, and all of that. It should be a teaching that should be explored among the married, as we did among the singles. So, all right, unmute yourself, Mrs. Jessica Mario.
Thank you, Father. Mrs. Jacinta Mario, please can you unmute yourself and share with us? Unmute yourself, please. Yeah, thank you.
I've done that, sister. Sister, good evening, Mama. You have,
good evening.
You have really made us know that we are the one holding the key of Billy's method in Nigeria, natural family planning. I appreciate you, man.
Thank
Father,
you. Thank you.
Sister, you have really done well. I like the introductory part of your the workshop. Like Father said, I would like you to go deep on the practical aspects of faith, like first belief. Why some people don't put interest in practicing Billings method is because they believe, even with the Bible in their hand, even with the Holy Communion, their mind still believes in what their forefathers said about sex or how they live their sexual life, instead of doing it the right way that science and the church approves. Because Billings method has been proved scientifically and it's very cheap and affordable. Just that, sister, I would also like you to do something for the church to give Billings method time for marriage class. Some are just putting it in the curriculum for marriage class. Some will just give 2 days and they say they have done Billings method. How will somebody that prepare for marriage and attended for Billings method class only for 2 days in 4 months or 2 weeks in 4 months be able to know what to do? But if you ask them, they say they taught them Billings method during marriage class, but it did not work for them. So I supported what Father said. And as a nurse midwife, I have my colleagues that I've trained before that are in the platform. So as we go, we will learn more. Like this night, I picked some things from you too. So well done, my mentor. God bless you, man.
Amen. Thank you very much. Yes, we are still having a lot of false belief. And to mention some of those areas like breastfeeding, there's a false belief that when the husband and wife sleeps to have sexual intercourse together while the child is being breastfed, that the child is going to get sick and the child will probably die. Why are we talking about this aspect? What happens is that if they are not charting the body signs, of course, it's good to know that when you are breastfeeding, the first ovulation will come before the first menses. What a lactation amenorrhea method says is that if you are breastfeeding exclusively and you don't menstruate before, is it 56 days, that woman will be infertile for 6 months. And all those of us who practice Billings method will know that that is not true. You could be breastfeeding exclusively as many times as possible during the day, and you will still have the return of menses at 6 weeks. Some women have their menses as early as 6 weeks after delivery. Some have it after 2 months, some have it 3 months, some have it 9 months. Some women, as long as they are breastfeeding, they cannot menstruate. Oh, so it is not true that the child will get sick. What happens is that if you don't check your body sign and you are thinking the menses will come first before the ovulation, the opposite will happen. There have been some women who will not have menses for up to 6 years, because what happens by the time they deliver the next baby, what happens? They get pregnant in between before the next baby comes. And that happens the second baby, maybe the third baby. And some women will tell you that when they are pregnant, when the baby sucks, it's turning their stomach and making them sick. Now, if we don't have enough money to feed that child with proper formula and then go straight into solid food when the baby is not ready for it, of course, that child is going to get sick. The baby is getting sick not because the husband and wife are having sexual intercourse, but rather because the child is not being breastfed properly because of the pregnancy of the mother. And then, of course, we also have the false belief of the premenopause. What people are saying, when somebody enters premenopause, if the husband and wife sleeps together, the woman is going to have fibroid. Again, this is a false belief. The husband and wife, they continue their journey, their marriage life, even into premenopause and menopause. It's not a question of the man leaving the woman and going outside and looking for side chicks and looking for younger people. Your wife remains your wife for the rest of your married life together. I think these are the two false beliefs I can think of. Mrs. Jacinta, I hope I have answered your question. Oh, is she still on the platform, or has she gone out? Father, can you see her? No. I think her network probably.
Yeah, she's here.
Okay, you are here. Okay, did I answer your question? Did I answer your question?
Yes, and another.
Sorry, about the marriage, because we have also talked about it to Sister Rosanna, that 2 days is not enough. You cannot learn this method properly in 2 days. And a lot of the people that phone into plan office are those people who learned it for 2 or 3 days. And maybe some of them later on are experiencing infertility problem because they were not taught properly. They are not too sure what to do. So I agree with you. It's something that we still need to follow it up with the Catholic Secretariat to change the curriculum, or to encourage parish priests to extend the time of teaching the natural family planning during marriage class.
There's a question in the chat box.
Hello?
There's a question in the chat box.
Okay, right. Okay, Father, I will take
your voice is just try to Sister Prisca, sorry I've stressed you this night, the device issue and all of that. Just try to project your voice so that we can hear you very well.
I'm saying there is a question in the chat box.
Okay, the question here is, how can a woman enjoy sex during premenopause since she's mostly dry without using moisturizer? If you remember at the beginning when we're talking about married life, we talked about GTPPP, gentleness, tenderness, play, and privacy. What's the last one?
Patience.
Play.
Patient.
Play.
Yeah, patient.
Play.
Okay, patient, play, and privacy. I was asking one of our instructors, a man. I asked when we're all the time talking of playing with the woman, I asked him one day, I said, how long do you play with your wife when you people are having sexual intercourse? He said to me, sister, not less than 30 minutes. So this is when we say GTPPP. We are asking the husband and wife, especially on the part of the man, to play, spend time and play with the wife to the extent that the body will become moist on its own. It requires patience. It requires the couple playing with each other. And I was also, Sister Prisca, remember in Benin, the man who is, actually in his 70s and the wife in her 60s. And he was describing to them, he said, yeah, now we are in this age. We don't have sexual intercourse as often as we used to do when we were young, but this time is rare, it's irregular, but it's deeper than it was. It's deeper than we used to have before when we were younger, and we understand each other. I don't know if I have answered the question of Mrs. Ume Chinyere.
Yes, sister, you have.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And I'm trying to check another question. Okay, I think those are the two questions. Yeah, okay.
Hello, sister.
Hello,
Yes.
sister.
Yes.
Hello, sister.
Yes, I'm listening.
This is Sister Agoba.
Okay.
Please, those
Good
who are
evening.
not talking can mute themselves so that we will not hear the echo and the noise.
Good evening, sister, and everyone.
Good evening. Good evening.
Okay, sister, I wanted just to share the difficulties in those who have those short cycles. We're talking of that the ovulation can take place during menses. Now, that difficulty, it's quite alarming and challenging because I see the menses thicker than the sperms. And how will the sperms go in? Bypass the very thick blood and then to allow the woman to conceive. That is where the problem is. And then my second issue is that play depends. I feel that play before sex, it depends mostly on the women, because the women also are in a position of accepting the play. Because I see a man who can play for a few minutes, the woman accepts him, and the play ends, and they go about their real sexual intercourse. But you may continue playing for so long. If the woman does not accept the play or receive the play cheerfully, then I see that you may play and end up just on playing without getting to sexual intercourse. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your question. When we are talking of playing for up to 30 minutes, this man was talking about, if you know your wife needs that period of play, because the question here was if she's in her menopause or premenopause and the body is dry. Like some women have shared with us that if the body is so dry and the man comes in very quickly, that they don't enjoy the sexual intercourse. What they experience is pain. And because of that, a lot of them will shy away from having sex or trying to give the man one excuse or the other, is because they are not enjoying the sexual intercourse. But the purpose of the play is to give the woman the time for her body to be moist before the penetration during sexual intercourse. And then going, say, whether the woman accepts. Again, a big debate happened last week when we were having a training. And the one woman said, if your husband has not even greeted you, I didn't care whether you are tired, and then in the bed, the person wants to play. What type of play is that? I don't know whether I'm making sense. I think the women might understand what I'm talking about. That when we are talking of the Billings method, it's the attitude. The love is being expressed the whole day. The way the woman treats the husband, the way the husband treats the wife, the way they are talking to each other, the way they are communicating to each other, and that is the highlight, the climax is still when they are expressing their sexual love. But if they were not chatting with each other and eating together and bathing together, if they were not doing that, going to express the sexual part, there will be a struggle, there will be a challenge there. So I don't know if I'm making sense. Is that Mr. Sorry, who was asking the question, please? Yeah, it's a way of life together. That's why we are saying that it deepens communication, it deepens understanding. If that was not pre-existing the whole day, of course, if they had misunderstanding and it was not sorted out, the woman wouldn't accept the play. The play starts from outside the bedroom and continues to flow. Am I making sense? Maybe the women here can add one or two words. Hello?
Hello, sister.
Yes.
Sister, I have a question.
Okay, is it related to what I'm saying or something? I'm not saying not to ask the question, but is it related?
Not really, a little different.
Okay.
But I understand what you are saying is the truth. What you are saying is the truth. Is because you have to get in the mood before the actual thing. And it doesn't just start on the bed. There must be a preparation to that. For instance, where a woman is like the person said, yeah, you are so tired, work all the way, cook, doing this, and then just about to sleep, and definitely women will react. So that's why it should be given time. It's something that the two of them will talk about and agree, so that both of them will be on the same page. But my question is on, actually somebody asked me this question in marriage class, and that's the position of oral sex in marriage.
Okay.
The position of oral sex in marriage. Because sometimes, especially these younger ones, with what the social media is doing to and all that, men is insisting, after all, they are married. He's not doing it with them. Why can't he explore the wife's body, and why can't she explore the husband's body in any way they feel? But what I try to explain is that the church's teaching concerning spilling the sperm in the process of love making, when you are doing it outside where it should be. But that day in class, it was like that I've been praying all along to get married and then do it with my husband and my wife. Now you people are coming with another. So sister, please, if you are posed this question, how do you help out?
Okay, when you are talking of exploring the married couple exploring each other's body, is that your question? That the church is climbing down on it? I'm not too sure the aspect of the question you are addressing.
Sir, pardon, please, ma, can I answer that question? I got
Okay.
it.
Okay, go
Oral
ahead.
sex, the position of the church as far as oral sex is concerned.
Okay, thank you. I get it clear now. Okay, okay. Yes, Mrs. Jacinta, you want to say something on that?
Yes, sister. Yes, sister. What Madam Chinonye, the question she asked, I've been encountering it in different occasions. And I think that the whole answer is in the Bible, if I'm not misquoting. First Corinthians, if you want to get that answer clearly, I think First Corinthians chapter 7 or chapter 5, read it all through. But in chapter 5, if it's chapter 7, it stressed it emphatically. Do what delights each other in marriage when it comes to sex. That the body of the woman did no longer belong to the woman, and the body of the man did no longer belong to the man. That they have to exchange it, and they should do whatever that delights each other. That is biblical. Now, the second aspect of our question is, in the process of men, that what they enjoy during sex with their wife is oral sex. Because if the Bible says the body is no longer your body and you do with each other's body whatever you delight, it then means you have right to enjoy play. That is the area GTPP comes. And like you have previously explained, the GTPP in the bedroom starts from outside the bedroom using the triangle of life, union of mind, union of heart, and union of body, which is the last that GTPP will come to the bedroom. Now, again, her second question is, what if this husband of mine or hers prefers oral sex, and in the process there's release of sperm? If this sperm is released and it any person that plays sperm, whether it's withdrawal method, whether it's oral sex, you pour it out, you have committed a mortal sin as far as the Catholic Church faith is concerned. Then scientifically, it has been proven that husband and wife that enjoy sex using the triangle of marriage and the GTPPP, that you see that it reflects in their skin, in their body, and the whole family, because the peace and happiness will be there. And that the sperm, the protein that the sperm contains, is equal to none, both of that animal protein and legume protein. So sperm can be used to take. Some women are encouraged to take it if they can swallow it. After, men are encouraged to suck out breast for women that are now lactating quick. And when the first milk comes out, they are encouraged to take it, assuming the baby is not able to take it. So the same way with a woman that the husband prefer oral sex, she should not waste that sperm. I don't know if, because if they waste it, they have committed a sin according to Catholic faith. Regards to the sin of, I've forgotten the quotation in the Bible, I think it's in Exodus. Then the quotation in First Corinthians, answer it. My sister Chinoy, I don't know if I have an answer, but sister, you can say more.
All right, let me come in to respond also to the question. Thank you, Mrs. Jacinta Mario, for the response you give This question came up in one of our conferences, and I think I explained something on that. Let me just quickly do that again. According to the Catechism of the Catholic bishops of Ibadan Ecclesiastical Province, the Catechism on Marriage, produced by the Catholic bishops of Ibadan Ecclesiastical Province. It should be a good book you may look for and read. The bishops answered this question in that catechism on marriage, talking about the position of the church on oral sex, anal sex, and all of that. Just as the person that asked the question, many young couples today are being influenced by the social media. On social media, you see a lot of that. For those who call themselves marriage teachers, marriage counselors, sex therapists, experts on sex and all of that, that is what they teach.
Yes.
So they encourage people to engage in oral sex so that, it's the way of spicing your married life and all of that. So the position of the church is this, that vaginal sex is what is in line with the intention of God on human sexuality. Okay, that is the penis and the vagina. These are the organs that God from the beginning, when He created man, when He created uh, our first parents, His intention is that this is how sex should be done. Okay, it should be done in this way. Now, the aspect of oral sex does not really conform with church's understanding of sex. Every sex has a twofold function, unity procreative. I'm not talking of the theology of sex now in marriage. That the oral sex goes contrary to this, anal sex goes contrary to this. So they are not a way that parents, that married couples should use to consummate their marriage, to enjoy that sexual gift. It is not through oral sex, neither is it through anal sex. These are modern forms, things that came up. And when you understand the purpose of sex, what sex serves in marriage, you will see where the church is coming from. So, as far as the church is concerned, oral sex, anal sex, shouldn't be part of your married life. As saying this to some married couples, especially new generation married couples, it will be like a hard blow, whatever, but that is what it is. Now, you talk about foreplay. How can the foreplay be done? The foreplay not necessarily the man sucking the woman's vagina or the woman sucking the husband's penis. All right? That should be their own expression of the sexuality. No. So the church makes it clear that when you are doing foreplay, any form of foreplay that you adopt that will go contrary to the insertion, that will go contrary to the transmission of the semen in the vagina, because sinful, as one of us just pointed out, that Mrs. Jessica Mario. And that brings us to the idea of withdrawal now. The term you are looking for, Miss Jessica Mario, is onanism. The church called it
Onanism, yeah.
onanism. Yeah.
Onanism, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yes, coming from Onan, okay,
Mm-hmm.
when the brother died, according to the Jewish tradition, is that the brother is supposed to take the wife, accept the wife, engage in sexual relation, and the wife will get a child. He will get a child for the late brother. But Onan didn't want that. So during sex, he withdraws, he pours the sperm somewhere else. And that's what many people do. Some married couples do that. Some don't even know that it is sinful. Some who know don't even bother. Of course, recently, a newly married couple, the lady was telling me that's what they practice, even elderly man. I mean, you see that it's even common among Catholic couples. So those that teach marriage in your parishes, and then you have to make it clear, tell them the right thing, whether they do it or not. So the withdrawal method goes contrary to the purpose of sexuality, and that's why we put it under uh, contraceptive, we put it under artificial
Yes.
contraceptives.
Artificial, yeah.
Artificial
All right.
yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yes.
good we know this and teach the right thing. It may not sound palatable to many married couples, especially the new generation married couples. It may not sound palatable to them, but that is how it is. In fact, someone put a notice now. Yeah, you talk about the hygiene too. Talk about the hygiene and many other things. Is that the only thing that will give you pleasure in your sexual life? So let me leave it at this. For the question that what is the position of the church? This is the position of the church. If you can look for the book I quoted, Catechism on Marriage by
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
Catholic Bishops of Ibadan Ecclesiastical Province. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Father, thank you very, very much. I think, yeah, Father has summarized it all. It depends what is the aim of the person. What is the aim? It's just like, that's why we are talking about the Billings method of the natural family planning. If the person is trying to look for shortcut, just like contraceptives, it boils down to the same thing. Why are we avoiding the proper way? But if we are inviting married couples to play with each other, then there is nothing wrong with that. So you find a way of bringing your spouse to the same level. That's what we are talking of. Being, sorry, I need to put on my camera. Being on the plateau together, not leaving the other one at the expense of your own satisfaction. So if it's just, okay, I'm using this method because I'm avoiding this other way, then there is a challenge, there's a problem somewhere. Okay. I don't know whether anybody wants to add to that. If not, there was a question I left unanswered for the short cycle. I didn't finish it. Okay, is that, sorry, who asked the question initially? I don't know whether we have answered your question or you need some more clarification. Hello?
Sister, we have to
Yes.
conclude because
Yes.
tomorrow, maybe if you
No,
answer
that
one
question
or
was
two
not
questions, we
answered.
can end the workshop. Then tomorrow being part two, the questions that are not answered today can be answered tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay, the person that asked the question, sorry, Father, just one point. During the fetal mucus, during menstruation cannot stop the woman getting pregnant if actually ovulation occurs at that time, which it might not be on the first or second. Supposing the woman menstruates for 5 days, most time the egg would not be released that first, second, or third day. It will be either the 4th day.
I've responded to them on the chat box.
All right, okay. All right, okay. Okay, so I hope the person is here. It's okay then with the question. All right. Okay,
Briefly,
Father.
can you talk about the cleanliness I raised in the beginning?
Yes, it is very, very, very important for a woman to be clean. It's not very nice if you don't wash properly, you will have a body odor. Yeah.
Sorry, I've answered all those questions in the chat box.
Okay, sister answered it. I'm seeing it on the chat now.
Yeah,
all right,
yes,
so
yeah. That's what Sister was just telling me through the window. If we can quickly look at it. Sister has already answered while we're discussing other things. Okay, roll it up there, Father. It's your own. You should send it to your box.
Let me read it out. Please listen. Let's read it out quickly. Father asks about hygiene. We encourage women to take care of themselves. Some women leave themselves unattractive after childbirth. Even the hair is not made or washed. On these are dirty. These are the things which drive men away to seek pleasure elsewhere because they no longer find the wives attractive. We also encourage women not to do dodging, inserting the finger into the vagina to wash, or even use medicated soap. By doing this, they introduce bacteria into their reproductive system. The vagina is not dated to require a medicated soap. Medicated soaps, on the contrary, kills the normal flora present in the vagina, offering protection against bacteria. The dirtiest part of a person is the anus, not the vagina. Also, spread your underwear in the sun to destroy bacteria like salmonella that drive under 2 degrees centigrade if you spread your pants in the.
Hello, Father.
Sorry, can you hear me? Sorry, can you hear me?